Animal Man number 16, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Steve Pugh and Timothy Green II. This is, of course, the next part of the Red Kingdom RotWorld super arc thing. And last issue we found out that there was a Green Lantern that was underneath Metropolis. So they go get the Green Lantern and he wakes up and he's like, oh, hey, I've been imprisoned in here a long time, but I kind of lost track. How long has it been? And they're like, oh, it's been like a year you've been down here. And they're like, cool. So you guys want to hear my story? And they're like, yeah, sure, okay. So, entire planet was being attacked by the rot, and the Guardians of the Universe, aka leaders of the Green Lanterns, they look down at Earth and they're like, oof, yeah, that's not good. A couple of our human lanterns have already fallen to this. So they got another lantern from a different sector who was really, really strongly attached to the green. And they're like, hey, you probably won't fall to the rot. Go in there and fix things. And he's like, will do. And as soon as they sent him in there, they made like an energy bubble around the planet. So that way the rot would not be able to go off planet and infect the rest of the universe. But then, he got down there, he fought, but in the end, he was imprisoned. And they were like, wait a minute, hold on. You didn't make all these vines all over Metropolis? And they're like, no, I'm imprisoned. By the way, his name is Medphil, I believe. Yeah, Medphil. So it turns out that as they're helping him down and all that, they hear this rumbling. And it turns out that the entire city is now Blackbriar Thorn, who featured briefly in Justice League Dark, but his whole thing is that he is a living plant forest thing. And now he's taken over all of Metropolis, so now he's Blackbriar Thorn, the living city. Anyway, back to the past. Last issue, the Hunters and William Arcane trapped, I'm blanking on her name, Maxine, that's it, and are just like, hey, leave your family, and you're going to do what we tell you to. And she's like, oh, I'm going to kill you. And they're like, oh, yeah, here's the thing. You could kill us. You're probably strong enough to kill us because you are still an Avatar of the Red. But we have your family and we'll kill them before you can kill us. And even if you do kill us, they'll still die anyway. So here's the deal. We will let your family go if you join us and make the Hunters 3 again, because one of them had been murdered. So Socks the cat speaks up. He's like, don't listen to them. They're not going to let your family live. This is all just a ruse. And William Arcane starts like using his rot powers to kill Socks, and that really pisses off Maxine. So she starts throwing him against walls and stuff. And the Hunters are just like, all right, tick-tock, we need an answer. I'm going to kill your mom. So back to RotWorld. The entire team is having trouble fighting against Blackbriar Thorn, but they basically have Constantine there saying like, hey, look, Blackbriar Thorn isn't actually a living forest or city or whatever. It's just a magic dude inside of all of it, and this is just his magic spell. So Buddy's like, okay, cool. And he uses like power of a termite and claws of a badger to dig his way into Blackbriar Thorn, and he gets to the center of him and finds the wizard and just yoinks him out, and that causes the entirety of Blackbriar to fall apart. And he's just like, all right, cool, got him. So then Medphil, he's finally back up and he's like, hey, I'm still super weak because it's been a year since I've, recharged my ring. Can we go get my battery? And they're like, yeah, sure, where is it? And it's like, oh, I hid it inside of the globe of the daily planet. So we got to go up there. And of course, in the meantime, as they make their way back up to the surface, because all that battle was underground, they see Frankenstein's army is holding off a huge army of the rot, which happens to include the 2 new books of Talon and Sword of Sorcery. Amethyst is also infected. So regardless, they make their way up to the top of the Daily Planet, get the battery out, he gets supercharged, and he just takes out the whole rot army that was attacking them all at once. And he's like, okay, I did that, but I really need to like rest for a while because this is taking a lot out of me. And they're like, no, you did a great job. You chill. We're good. We're going to make our way over to Anton Arcane's castle. Okay? You just relax. So back in the past again, Maxine is looking at her cat and is just like, look, it's my family and I don't want them to hurt you. I got to do it. And Socks is like, that's the dumbest thing. Do not do that. And she's like, okay, but I got to do it. So at that point, she turns to the hunters. The hunters let her family go. And they're like, oh, God, Cliff, Mom, you're all right. And then everyone just hugs. And then Ellen looks over at Maxine, who's walking over to the hunters. And she's like, no, Maxine, don't do it. And she's like, sorry, Mom, only way. The hunters bite Maxine, and she turns into the third hunter. And they're like, yes, the rot has won. We have done it. This is how the world dies. So then back in RotWorld, we see them all marching their way to Arcane's castle. And Frankenstein says, like, I sent some scouts out here. They didn't return. And I also don't see any signs of their quote-unquote gatekeepers that I've been so worried about. And then all of a sudden, Frankenstein's army gets torn apart. Just absolutely decimated. And they're like, what in the hell? What's happening? And before they can even do anything, Constantine gets his chest punched out by a rot-infected Flash. Flash just goes around and like kills everybody instantaneously, and it's just like, oh geez, oh god. And Steel looks down the path and sees this entire rot army coming down the path, and it turns out the gatekeepers are not just any rot infected superheroes, it's the Justice League. The Justice League are the ones who are coming to kill them. So yeah, I'm feeling good about their odds. I think they have a real shot. I like this issue. I think it did a good job. It's settled up. Okay, here's how we got to the part of where RotWorld happened in terms of Maxine's storyline. It's like, yeah, she got infected pretty much immediately. She wasn't much use to the red at all. It was solid storytelling throughout. We got this Green Lantern who has the ability to help. Honestly, I feel like the Animal Man side of the story, rather than the Swamp Thing, has the most balance between red and green, because not only do they have Animal Man and this Green Lantern, they also have Beast Boy for the red and Black Orchid for red and green, apparently. So there's a lot going on in this book, and I really do enjoy it. This particular issue, I'll go ahead and give it a 7.5. I like it, though. Like, it is good. I just can't quite justify giving it an 8. It still feels like, it literally says next issue is the beginning of the finale. So I believe that and Swamp Thing 17 are going to be a combo piece. But it is good. It is fantastic. And I just want to see how everything we build up to here gets this huge final battle going. So Animal Man's good.